Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news update show. Lots and lots to talk about. The England loss of yesterday, which still really hurts. And I woke up today and it was freezing and the cold and England losing. It was not a good morning. But we did have Man United transfer news because the Netherlands and Portugal out. All our targets seem to be Dutch or Portuguese. So the transfer news really hitting up. Romano's basically confirmed that Cody Gakpo wants to come to United. Reliable sources have confirmed Joao Felix wants to go to United. But actually, reportedly, Man United put in a €95 million bid for someone else. I would take that story with a pinch of salt, but I will get up on the screen, as well as news surrounding other players. So we're going to dive right into the transfer news part of the show. Then we're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes. He is not a happy man. We'll talk a little bit about Rashford, a little bit about England, some new owner situation, and all of that. So make sure, first of all, you smash that like button. And, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. And, of course, guys, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. So if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, football news, and even news surrounding the World Cup in its final weeks, make sure you go click the link in my description, in the top of the description, or pinned in the chat to do that. The OneFootball app has spoken about Joao Felix being Man United being the favourites for Joao Felix. But if we scroll at the OneFootball app, we've got all our news. Ten Hag said he will not let Rashford leave on a free. Neymar actually shouted at Fred because apparently it's Fred's fault they lost. It wasn't really. Goncalo Ramos news on the women's games as well. But also, this was the report coming in that Manchester United making a crazy €95 million offer to sign Croatian duo as they battle Chelsea for defender. This guy Guardiola has been absolutely fantastic at the World Cup, and there's rumours going on that United have made a €95 million offer for him. Personally, he's a centre-back, and personally, I don't think we have €95 million, so I think that maybe Chelsea's going for him, but they're going to use Man United, pretend Man United are interested to scare Chelsea. I know that the priority is attacker and right back, so I would take the story with a pinch of salt, but I think this is a player we'll have on our radar come the summer. So make sure you check out the OneFootball app to stay up to date on all of that news as well. But I want to dive into some stories on Bruno and some general transfer news surrounding Joao Felix and, of course, the guy Cody Gakpo. We know that Joao Felix's preferred destination seems to be Manchester United, and Fabrizio Romano has spoke about the potential for Joao Felix to come to Manchester United. We're actually going to go over to Twitter, guys, and get into the news, and then I will address the live chat. And I do want to get into some stories. As you can see, there's a lot of news coming out today. But Joao Felix has preferred to leave Atletico Madrid and he's open to a new experience. So there's complete chances he makes the move in January. Atletico are going to try for 100 million. But this isn't the main story I wanted to get out. I'm trying what Fabrizio Romano said about Joao Felix, and then I will get into the chat, is this, and I think this is quite interesting. He also said, Fabrizio Romano, can't find the exact tweet, but he said, Manchester United know Joao Felix is available. Atletico Madrid want more than 100 million, but there is a chance Jorge Mendes will explore a different formula to get into the Premier League. And basically, reportedly, it's being said that Joao Felix wants the Premier League, and that, even though Atletico Madrid want to see if they can get that 100 million back, Jorge Mendes will be looking to go, you know what, let's see if we can get Joao Felix that move on a cheap. So yeah, let me go back over to OneFootball and let's talk about some of the stories heading about. So remember, there is a link pinned in the chat and there is a link in the description, second line of description, to go download this. It's completely free. You can get it on an app with your phone. United obviously favourites to sign Felix and the 95 million offer for Guardiola. But I would say take the Guardiola news with a pinch of salt. I hope we take proper care with the Ronaldo replacement, exactly. And that's going to bring me into what Ten Hag had to say as well. And where do we get the money? Last time we checked, we had a 20 million transfer budget and we're losing money. This is the thing. This is the real thing, people. There's very much conflicting reports. I don't believe that we've made a 95 million offer for Guardiola. I think that is paper talk, paper spin. I don't believe that. I report it because it's news, and the journalist that said it wasn't the worst journalist in the world. It's not the best, but it weren't the worst. So, yeah, I don't believe that. I don't think we have 90 million. I don't think we have more than 50 million. I think we have 40 million to spend, and I think we'll look to get Gakpo for 40 million. And it really depends on if someone's going to pay more than 40 million for Gakpo, which they might because of the World Cup. I think that's what we'll be doing in the summer. I think Joao Felix, we'll see if we can get him on loan. I think Atletico Madrid will want to move, but maybe a loan with an obligation to buy. That could be the situation as well. The thing is, I don't know how much money Man United have, and there's very much conflicting reports around how much money do Manchester United have. a Man United rich, a Man United broke. You know, that is the situation. And honestly, I don't think we have a lot of money, but I think United know they have to particularly spend. With Ronaldo gone, with the amount of games after the World Cup, with Martial probably going to be injured for the majority of the second half of the season, that's just the way it goes. As good as I think it can be, I think Manchester United know they've got to go all out, and it's a must that they go out there and get a striker as well. And as you said, you know, it's very important that when we get this striker replacement, that United absolutely take care of who they want to sign. And that's going to bring me back to Twitter and what Ten Hag had to say. I will talk a little bit about the England game, people, as well, actually, because I want to give my thoughts on it, because I'm absolutely heartbroken. And if we go back to the news, Ten Hag said this. He said, if Man United were looking for a striker in January, Ten Hag said yes, but only when we find the right player. We will do everything on our power. We are doing research at every opportunity, and we'll do everything we can do to sign with the opportunities there. So Ten Hag has come out and said, basically publicly, he wants a striker in January, yes. Ten Hag said, I want a striker in January, but I do not want any striker. I want the right player. And if the right player is available for the right price, we will do everything in our power to get them. We know Ten Hag likes Gakpo. Ten Hag used Gakpo as the right player because he wanted him in the summer. We know Ten Hag likes Joao Felix because he was interested in him in the summer. We know that we were also linked to Goncalo Ramos in the summer. Despite Goncalo Ramos scoring a hat-trick for Portugal, we were linked to him in the summer. So Goncalo Ramos, Joao Felix, and Cody Gakpo are the 3 striker targets. I'm going to tell you this now for a fact. This has been confirmed by Tier 1 sources. Goncalo Ramos, Cody Gakpo, and Joao Felix are Manchester United's 3 main targets this January window. And now Netherlands and Portugal are out of the World Cup. They can very much heat up. The question is, United don't have 70, 80 million pounds. United have maybe 40 million pounds. Will United be able to obtain any of them for less than 50 million pounds? It's a difficult one because of good World Cups. They can be pushed up in price. Atletico Madrid will want more money for Felix. I think a lot of it is going to depend on a few situations with who else wants the player, who are the rivals, do the players push for the move and all of that. But we know for a fact it is Gakpo, it is Goncalo Ramos, and it is Joao Felix that United want to get. And Gakpo is top of that list. And Gakpo is number 1 top of that list. And Man United want to get a striker. Ten Hag wants to get a striker. And they're going to make sure they get a right striker. But it's got to be at an affordable price. And that is the real question mark in the January window. And now Gakpo, Ramos, and Felix are all back from the World Cup. And we know Ten Hag's made it very clear to United. He wants someone who can play in a Man United shirt 1st of December. He wants that deal to be done 1st of December. He wants that Man United, that new January signing playing the 1st week of December, which means Man United would need to get something wrapped up before Christmas or just after Christmas before the new year. So I will tell you this, guys, now for a fact. It is going to heat up. We are going to sign someone in January. We want a striker. We want a right back. I think the only reason we don't sign someone in January is because our targets are unaffordable and they're chucking up some short-term options to Ten Hag that he doesn't want. But make sure you're subscribed because I will be updating you on all the transfer news. And make sure, of course, you hit that like button as well. Alex, did I watch today's Manchester derby? I didn't. I completely forgot because the World Cup's on. I just forgot about just general football a little bit as well. And obviously, we must take care with the Ronaldo replacement. And I think Ten Hag is saying, I want a striker in January, but I don't want to rush it. I think in summer will be the Ronaldo replacement. I think this is getting us through to the summer. I think we want someone that's versatile. I think Goncalo Ramos potentially could be the long-term Ronaldo replacement, but we know that Ten Hag likes Osimhen and Blahovic, but they wouldn't be done through summer. Apparently, Dalot is injured. Does anyone know the extent of Dalot's injury? Because if Dalot is injured, that's not good because Wan-Bissaka's shit. Brandon Williams needs a loan, and Malacia, we could play him at right back, but we're playing him out of position, so Malacia is going to be shit. I am concerned in that sense of I really hope and I really pray and I honestly beg that nothing happens with Diego Dalot injury rise. I hope Dalot, Bruno, Martinez, Varane, and Casemiro can just stay ridiculously fit. Like that's all I hope for as well. But yeah, I am better than Felix. They should sign me. A lot of people don't want Joao Felix. Should we do a poll? Okay, guys. Bear with me a second before I do a poll, so it might lag a second. I'm going to ask you, because we've got 3 striker targets, okay? And we know that's for a fact. And those 3 striker targets that United have got are obviously Cody Gakpo, Joao Felix, and Ramos. And I'm going to do a poll. I want you guys to vote on the poll if you would sign Gakpo, Felix, or I'll put Goncalo Ramos, because people will get confused with which attacker in Jan. Okay, I'm going to ask, so make sure you vote on the poll here. I've just asked you guys in the chat, if you were to sign an attacker in Jan, which one would you get? Gakpo, Felix, or Goncalo Ramos? They are the 3 confirmed January targets by Tier 1 sources as well. Keep smashing the likes, guys, as well, and do subscribe as well. Dalot pulled up running without contract during the Portugal match. Always happens, won't be a worry. Yeah, I think he's just pulled a muscle or a hamstring. I'm hoping it's one of those where he just needs like a week's rest and he'll be absolutely fine. Alice, did you watch the Manchester Derby match? I did not. I answered that one, didn't I? And what happened to Bruno? Just joined the live. Bruno just absolutely lost it after the Portugal game. Got in a bit of trouble, just accused the refs of cheating and stuff. And he could get a fine for that. He basically just said, all the refs are Argentinian. The World Cup's kind of fixed for Argentina to win. Why are Spanish and Argentinian referees refereeing a Portugal game when we're clear rivals? And Bruno was just absolutely livid and absolutely fuming after the Portugal loss. And I feel sorry for Bruno Fernandes because, you know what? He was Portugal's best player and he was carrying Portugal on their shoulders. Absolutely. Like, I thought Bruno Fernandes was absolutely fantastic for Portugal and he can come back from the World Cup with his head held high. And I also feel really sorry for Ronaldo because Ronaldo was fucking shambolic. But, you know, the thing about Ronaldo is when he was in his prime, Portugal was shit. And now Portugal finally have a good team. Leao, Bruno Fernandes, there's Goncalo Ramos coming through, you know, Joao Felix, you know, Dalot, Joao Cancelo, Ruben Diaz. Portugal now have a good team, but they don't have prime Ronaldo. And if Portugal had prime Ronaldo, it could be a different situation. And it is such a shame. But I think Bruno was fantastic at the World Cup and he has every right to be frustrated. And they did get knocked out to Morocco. But that's just football. And I think although there are rumours about the World Cup being bent so Argentina wins, I don't think that would happen in modern day as well. But keep smashing the likes and, of course, subscribe down below. Carl says we need a striker and a right back for January. Otherwise, we haven't got a chance of getting in the Champions League. A lot of people speaking about Ivan Toney as well. Ivan Toney, it's a difficult one because obviously there's some kind of situation going on with Ivan Toney with some betting and something like that. So I don't want to get in a difficult situation with Ivan Toney where, you know, he's going to get banned or in trouble or something because because Kieran Trippier got like a 12-week ban for doing bets. And reportedly Ivan Toney generally did like 100 bets or something. I don't really know. Apparently he did like 100 bets. Kurt, who's been a member for 18 months, says, well, it sounds like a wish list for Santa this year. If Manchester United was good in 22, then ... Kurt, you've been a member for the channel for 18 months. That's a year and a half. That's a long time. But you know what? Man United's transfer target list does seem like a list for Santa. It is a very, very long list. It is a very long list as well. Is Anthony going to be a dud? What is a dud? What's a dud? What's that? A thing that fails to work properly. Oh, so like a flop. I feel like I should know what that is. Will Anthony be a dud for Manchester United? I don't think so. I think he might take time to adapt. I do think he will be someone that will never be worth 100 million. I think he was a 40 million signing. He'll be good. I think he's an all right player, but I've never thought Anthony was amazing. I always actually prefer, if you watch my summer videos, I say Gakpo with Anthony. However, you know, it's Ten Hag, it's what Ten Hag wants. Ten Hag wanted a player like Anthony, but I don't necessarily think Anthony would be a dud if that's how you would say. I think Anthony will work out. Give him time to get fitness back. He scored 3 goals already this season. You know, he's doing all right, Anthony, to be fair to him. But we haven't seen the best of Anthony as well. Varane and Martinez are the last players at the World Cup. And part of me wants one of Varane and Martinez to come back with the World Cup. But then a part of me wants Morocco to win. But I do support. I don't know who I want to win the World Cup. Probably Morocco now. And if you don't need Gakpo, you are not a Man United fan. We need Gakpo. We need a right back. Basically, let's be honest, what do Manchester United actually need? Manchester United need a right back to back up Dalot. Man United need a player that can play in Bruno's role as backup. Man United need a player that can play alongside Casemiro, like an Enzo Fernandes, Frenkie de Jong profile. United potentially need a long-term goalkeeper to replace De Gea. United do need a long-term striker, and United do need depth in attack. And I want to get into something that's quite worrying because I think that it's looking more and more likely that United could lose Garnacho. And this is something I'm a little bit worried about. I'm going to try and find the report here. But Romano said something about Garnacho today. And I'm actually just going to see if I think it will come up here. Garnacho, Romano. Let's see if it comes up here. Can't find it. Wait a sec. United Plug might have tweeted it. If not, I can get it on OneFootball. But I'm going to just see if I can get it on Twitter while I'm here. Romano, who said something interesting about Garnacho, and I'm gonna quickly see if I can. No, why can't I find the tweet I want to do? Garnacho. I know where it'll be. It'll be on here. MUFC. This is something that's a bit worrying about Garnacho. No. MPB. No. Yeah, this account. They do transfers, don't they? So let me have a look. Sorry about this. Yeah. So Manchester United are still in talks with Garnacho over a new contract, and they want him to be happy about the salary. And this is what concerns me about Garnacho is. Now, I'm not saying Garnacho is greedy and has an attitude problem and all of that, but there has been this kind of thing with Garnacho that he is sometimes, he's not got an attitude problem. He's a good player, but he was a 17-year-old that's, playing for Manchester United, being hyped up all over social media and given a shit ton of money. Every 17-year-old is going to be the same. And Ten Hag said about Garnacho and the issues surrounding Garnacho at the beginning of the season, he's a kid. That's what happens, kids say. Like he said, he's young, and it's not something to be concerned about. But the problem with Garnacho is he loves the social media, the style life. Not there's anything wrong with it, but what I'm saying is, very much into like his designer clothes, his tattoos, the kind of lifestyle, the rich lifestyle. And there's the fear is, and this is just a suggestion. This isn't from me. This is something I read on Twitter. And I don't think Garnacho is. I think Garnacho is focused on football. And I'm not worried about him in the sense. But the Garnacho wants more money to sign a contract at United, and there's the fear that is he getting ahead of himself because he's being hyped up. He's going to get a new contract, and he's starting to play for Manchester United as well. That's the question around Garnacho, because there's rumours that he wants more money. United have offered him a salary that's quite high, like 75 grand a week, but it starts at 35 grand a week and raises to 75. And Garnacho's in a position where he knows that there's probably clubs out there that would give him like 70, 80k a week to go. Real Madrid are interested. There's a lot of clubs interested because he's going to be a free agent. And the problem is, United don't want to give Garnacho 70, 80 grand a week because they do not want. I'm not going to say a Mason Greenwood situation because that's in a complete new box. But a situation, because that's just like legal stuff, but a situation where a player gets a lot of money too young and maybe thinks they've made it and maybe they don't focus on football. They don't do anything awful like Greenwood does, but maybe they lose focus on football. And I think Man United are trying not to give their young players such high wages when they give them new contracts. So the thing with Garnacho that seems to be going on is that, it's about the salary. They've been in contract talks for a while, but there are suggestions about the salary and Garnacho wanting a higher salary. Now, look, if you're Garnacho, you have every right to demand a higher salary and stuff. But it's frustrating from a United perspective of like he wants a higher salary. He's a kid. How can we be giving him the 100 grand a week or 75 grand a week that he wants? It's absolutely insane. Giving him a high salary that much could distract him from football. Think he's made it. But then if we don't do that, he could go to Real Madrid on a free, and he's such a good player and he's so valuable. I'm not worried about Rashford. I'm not worried about Delot. I'm a little bit worried about Garnacho's situation because we've seen things happen like this with Paul Pogba. But what I will say regarding Alejandro Garnacho is Ten Hag is a manager that I very much trust to guide Garnacho. I think it's very easy, and this isn't a personal attack on Garnacho, but I think it's very easy for young players, especially United, when they start playing well, they get a bit of hype, they're good looking, they've got all this money, they're on top of the world, and they can. And, money can become the most important thing. And I think, Ten Hag is the man to guide Garnacho. We know there was problems from pre-season at the beginning of the season. And we know Garnacho has responded by working extra hard and being super impressive in training. So I'm not worried about the attitude of Garnacho. And I believe Ten Hag will be the right mentor. But United need to be careful with this Garnacho situation. They need to get this new contract done quick. And they need to maybe put some kind of terms in this new contract that maybe, while the wages are super high, maybe it has to be like 21 to access the full amount. It is a bit worrying giving a young player such high wages, in my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts is because, I don't want a situation where the player gets distracted and, giving an 18-year-old just turned 18, like 70, 80 grand a week. You'd spend it on crap. Like, I'm 22 now. I was only 18 4 years ago. And I have to say, and I will say this now, the maturity between 18 and 20 is massive. I say this now, like when you're 18, you are still so immature. And I'm not saying that I'm super mature now, but I look at like how you grow between about the ages of 18 and 19. 19-year-olds are like 5 years maturer than 18-year-olds. I feel like that 1 year where you're 18 to 20, that 2-year period when you're 18 to 20, you mature about 5, 6, 7 years. And I think that's the situation as well. Felix or Gakpo, personally Gakpo for me. What is the poll doing? Guys, I've done a poll in the chat asking, because if you have only just joined the live stream, Manchester United have 3 targets for January. Man United have laid down their 3 main targets for the January transfer window. And these 3 targets that Man United are hoping to get in January are Gakpo, Ramos, one player. So do vote in the poll. 51% of you so far are saying Gakpo. 36% of you are saying Felix. 13% of you are saying Goncalo Ramos. So it seems that Gakpo personally is the favourite to come to United, that we want to United as well. Felix has a higher ceiling than Gakpo, and he's young, so we should get him instead, as he can certainly play on the wing in Bruno's position. I think Gakpo. I think we need Gakpo and Felix. I think Gakpo and Felix is the ideal situation. Another centre back with Maguire may be leaving in the summer. There are reports that Maguire will leave, and I think we will go for Min-jae in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if we go for Min-jae in the summer. We've got nearly 400 people watching, so keep smashing the like button. And Alex B says, cannot see Garnacho leaving. He's under contract till 2024 and given a wage increase by the club, but not letting the teenager force himself out. I think his contract hasn't been finalised, though. I think it's nearly done, but it hasn't been finalised. Because some people are saying that Garnacho is under contract to 2024, and some people are saying, the Garnacho situation hasn't been finalised. So I don't know. Should we sell Anthony for Gakpo? No, way too early as well. People saying sell Rashford? No, not at all. The club are not letting a teenager with years on this deal force himself out, just a sort of wage increase. I think so, but there's rumours that he hasn't actually signed that deal with years on, as I was saying. I don't think Garnacho will go anywhere, but yeah. And I think, to be fair, Garnacho, Rashford and Delo will stay, and I think we probably will get Cody Gakpo. Ideal situation is we bring a right back and attacker in January. We get new owners by summer, and that is the ideal situation. Atletico Madrid are thick. Is Murta on the Atletico Madrid board or something? You'd think Murta and Arnold are on the Atletico Madrid board. They buy Joao Felix for what? Well, Joao Felix was like 100 million. Joao Felix price. Let me Google. How much did Joao Felix cost Atletico Madrid? Joao Felix. How much did Joao price Atletico? How much did Joao Felix cost Atletico? According to Google, Joao Felix was £113 million. Fucking hell, massively overpaid. So Joao Felix cost Atletico £113 million. He flopped. And now Atletico Madrid think, we spent over £100 million on this player and he was a complete flop. Now we're going to ask for £150 million. What the actual fuck? Like, they've got no brain surgery. You think Arnold and Murta are doing this kind of negotiations? No one's going to pay more. I don't think anyone's going to pay more than 80 million for Joao Felix. I think at most you could get 80 million because he's still living off that hype. He's still very young and he's still got a very high ceiling. But they are thick. They are thick as fuck. And they think they're going to get that as well. Sell Donny Jones, Wan-Bissaka. I think that will happen this year as well. I think that will happen in the next year as well. And Felix not played well this season. His performances is just standard. We don't have a chance of signing him. And now the price is 85 million. I think Man United, and I'll say this now about Joao Felix. Joao Felix reportedly wants United. Joao Felix likes Ten Hag and Joao Felix wants the Premier League. And Joao Felix is reportedly very open to a Manchester United move. Joao Felix very much open to a Manchester United move. But I will say this now about Joao Felix. It will not happen unless it's a loan because United will not be able to spend more than 40-50 million this window, especially without sales. Now, there are rumours that Wan-Bissaka's going. Ronaldo's obviously saved us a bit of money on the wage bill. We saved about 18 million with Ronaldo, so there is a little bit of money there to buy a striker. I don't think we can spend more than 50 million. And I don't think, as much as I think that Joao Felix is probably a 60 million pound player, I don't think Atletico Madrid will let him go on the cheap. So I think if he's really causing problems and really forcing a way out, Atletico Madrid might be like, you know what, we're going to just let Joao Felix go on loan. But I don't think it will be happen and all of that as well. But he's not played well, so it could drive the price down. But I think Gakpo is probably better value for money than Felix. We're on 98 likes, guys. So if you've not hit that like button, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And also, we're very, very close to 54.3 thousand subscribers. We're on 54,277 subscribers. So 23 subscribers away from 54.3k. So please do subscribe down below if you have not already as well. Do you think Dest could return to Ten Hag's radar? I don't think so. I think Ten Hag's he's not even playing for Juventus, or where did he move to now? I think Ten Hag's very much focused on Frimpong. I think that is the player that he wants, and Dumfries. I haven't really been impressed with Ten Hag recently, but he still deserves time. Says Gaz, and I think Joao Felix is overrated. 150 million is too much. 60 million is reasonable. Anything above should not be considered. Absolutely spot on with you. I agree. And the thing with Gakpo and all the other players mentioned is not one of them will give United what they need, goals. I disagree with that. I think Gakpo does give goals. I mean, let's have a look. Let's look at this. Cody Gakpo. Obviously, it's different in the Eredivisie, and Depay had good stats. Depay's had decent. It's different, but if you look at Cody Gakpo here, you go to Transfermarkt, whatever, and you look at this here. 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 goal contributions in 24 games. Averages basically a goal every other game. Averages a goal contribution a game. Cody Gakpo, 9 goals and 14 Eredivisie games. Creates, gets assists. He's also scored 3 for the Netherlands. And I think Cody Gakpo has the best, like, for players that have scored more than 1 goal, I think Cody Gakpo has the best expected goals to goals ratio, which basically says he's a good finisher. If you look at Goncalo Ramos stats here, so Goncalo Ramos is the guy that got a hat-trick for Portugal and an assist in his first game, for his first ever start for Portugal in a World Cup quarter-final, which is insane. Well, Goncalo Ramos here, 14 goals, 6 assists in 21 games, scored in the Champions League qualifying, 4 goals, decent striker, 1 goal, 1 assist in the actual Champions League, but 9 goals in 11 La Liga Portugal games. I mean, what is it about Atletico Madrid? They replaced Joao Felix with Darwin Núñez, and then they find Goncalo Ramos. Not Atletico, Benfica. And then who was the third one? Joao Felix is the one that doesn't score goals. So Joao Felix is the one here that doesn't score goals. He's got 1 goal in the World Cup, but Joao Felix has never been a goal scorer, but I don't know if that's because he just doesn't suit Atletico's game. 4 goals, 3 assists in 18 games. We go back to last season. Did Atletico and Real Madrid won the league last season again? 10 goals overall last season, which isn't actually particularly good. This was the year Atletico won the La Liga, 7 goals in 31 games, not particularly good. I can't believe they're demanding fucking, 150 million for this guy. La Liga again, 6 goals. Like, he's never got more than 10 goals in La Liga, and you can say it's Simone's way of playing, but Griezmann managed to get bare goals in La Liga. I mean, he obviously had the 15 goals and 9 assists in Liga Portugal at such a young age, and I think, how he was doing for Benfica, this was obviously, his breakout season for Benfica, was a kind of, hat-trick in the Europa League, kind of shows the potential of Joao Felix here. But you are right with Joao Felix not being a, guaranteed goal scorer. But I think Gakpo and Goncalo Ramos have goals in them. I think Joao Felix is someone you almost want to be back up to Bruno and link-up player, and I think Gakpo and Ramos are likely to score goals. Being told that Arsenal went for Joao Felix in this series, I think so, but I don't think, again, Arsenal have the money. I think Man United and Arsenal and Chelsea and Premier League teams would go for Joao Felix if he was 60 million or on loan at a reasonable price as well. There's another player we were linked to years ago and rejected for 8 million. Now that looking at him again for 60 million. Typical United. It is typical United. Moises Caicedo, 4 million now, 100 million, something like that now. Gakpo for 45 and Felix on loan. I don't think that will happen. I don't think that's possible, but that would be the fucking dream. Like, that's the best we could get out of January with some kind of realism as well. And Gakpo will be brought as a winger mostly, but will still lack the attacking midfield playmaking type. Felix is the piece to a puzzle. We need to sell Bruno. I wouldn't sell Bruno. I think Gakpo can play as centre forward, and I think Ten Hag loves a versatile player, and I think Gakpo is someone we would buy, but I think we'd actually get a long-term striker in summer, because I think Gakpo could be moulded into a centre forward, but he's more a second striker, left winger, left forward kind of type as well. Why are we going for Bellingham? Reportedly, we haven't got a chance. Ten Hag wants Bellingham. Bellingham is right at the top of that list. Like, Man United, trust me, they want Jude Bellingham. They would love Jude Bellingham, and I think, understandably why. But can they afford to spend over 100 million on a position in summer? Obviously, we're likely to get new owners in the summer. And I think the real situation with Bellingham is, Man United know in the summer they need a long-term striker, a Vlahovic. So you're looking at 60, 70 million. They also know they're going to need a backup right back for Delo. You're looking at about 20 million. That's 90 million already. We also know we need a midfielder. Now, for that midfielder, we probably got about 60 million to go for Enzo Fernandes or De Jong again, which I think is what they will do. That's 150 million. I think that's how much we'll spend potentially looking at a goalkeeper or centre-back if Maguire goes. I think if new owners, we could spend up to 200 million, but I think we'll probably spend around the 120 million mark. I'm not sure what we'll do. And I think, Bellingham, if we get top 4 and Liverpool don't, we could get Bellingham. If we do really well and we get fucking rich new owners, we could get Bellingham. But I think Bellingham will be a difficult deal to do, and I think United are nowhere near the favourites to get Bellingham. I think we'll have an indication come the end of the season, maybe if we get top 4. Mitrovic scored 40 goals in the Championship, so why not Gakpo at the level? You know what? It's interesting. Some players can score loads of goals in some leagues, and they go to the Prem, like Werner, Sancho, Kai Havertz, and they can't score goals. And then some just do. And the Haaland scores loads of goals, goes to the Prem, scores a load of goals. I think for me, a lot of it is about the player and how they fit into the system as well as adapt to the league. But I think Gakpo could adapt to the Premier League quite well because of just all his physical attributes and that Ten Hag's wanted him for a while. What's Gakpo's strongest position? Is he a proper number 9 or attacking player that can play as a striker? He's an attacking player that can play as a striker. He's been playing striker in the World Cup. He did play deeper role versus Argentina, but then got moved to striker. Gakpo is predominantly a left winger, but he's very much a left forward, more like a left-sided striker winger, almost in the sense that he can very much play centre forward on the right or on the left. He's played centre forward a lot. But Gakpo was promising, but right now he doesn't look ready as a PL9. I agree. I think he's more of a false 9 or a winger, but I think without there being any ideal top number 9s that Ten Hag wants, aka Vlahovic, Osimhen available, I think Gakpo's the best and most realistic option we can do until the summer, where we bring in the long-term number 9 and put Gakpo on the wing as well. 123 likes, people, so keep smashing the like button. I've got a few more stories to get into. I'm just going to take a quick swig of water because I'm really thirsty. Steve said he would take Felix and Gakpo, but if it's only one, he'd choose Gakpo. And Guardiola's a Croatian to replace Maguire. Pay RB Leipzig now the amount they want. I think Guardiola, the 95 million euro offer for Guardiola, I think if that's going to happen, it's going to happen in the summer. I think when we have new owners in, I assume we're going to have new owners in the summer. I will do a new owner video tomorrow because I think we are going to get new owners in, but I think, in any kind of situation like that, I think wait until the summer, people, as well. We need midfield to play with Bruno and in many years to come. Eriksen not long term, same with Casemiro. United should sign Felix, put Rashford up front. United's midfield is aging, and that is something we've got to address long term. And Bellingham, brilliant, just can't be blowing the budget on one player anytime soon. Exactly. I don't rate Gavi. I rate Pedri, and I rate Musiala, and I rate Bellingham, but I don't think Gavi's in that bracket myself. I haven't seen enough of him, but I don't, from what I saw, I know he's like a year and a half younger, but he's not in that bracket. And Jude Bellingham, future England captain, the mentality he has. Jude Bellingham at 19, man. Not even just how good he is, but the mentality. I mean, he was 16 and he looked like a fully grown man. There's something about Jude Bellingham. Apparently, Joe Bellingham's going to be the next big thing as well. There's something about that family. He's got the genes. He's got everything. There's something about Jude Bellingham. I do absolutely love him. And it's a shame that he's probably going to go to Liverpool. I pray he doesn't go to Liverpool, but it's a shame that he will. We'll go back to Twitter because, we're just looking at Joao Felix's Portuguese stats, which he hasn't managed to reminisce. I just tweeted about this. Rashford and Mbappe have a bit of a friendship. So I did tweet this. I did say Agent Rashford. I thought Rashford and Mbappe, talking to each other. Project Mbappe at United, people. I mean, that would be the ideal goal. But what we will do is we will go back into some transfer news because we have got some news on Gakpo to Manchester United. And this one came in from Fabrizio Romano. So this is obviously an interesting story because we all know who Romano is. If you don't know who Fabrizio Romano is, you've been living under a rock. And he said that Cody Gakpo is still keen on joining Manchester United. I mean, but it seems that, despite him not getting the Manchester United move in summer, Cody Gakpo is still very much keen and interested in joining Manchester United, which is very good news for us. And I think this is one now that he's back from the Netherlands in the World Cup. I really do think Cody Gakpo to United, really seriously, guys, could heat up in the next few days as well. He's also spoke about Manchester United's plan as well, about Rashford, Delo renewing their contract. But I want to get into some other transfer news that has come out as well. So Luke Edwards of The Telegraph is a very good journalist, and he's spoken about Goncalo Ramos, Gakpo, and Joao Felix, and a few others. And what Luke Edwards of The Telegraph has said is that Manchester United were already tracking Goncalo Ramos' progress closely before the World Cup. Because I've done a video on Goncalo Ramos to United and United keeping an eye on him. He's someone that United have been looking at before the World Cup. And this good source, again, has said that we were looking at him before the World Cup. And what Luke Edwards of The Telegraph has also said, again, regarding Goncalo Ramos, and I'll get it up for you guys here, is that Manchester United must decide whether to move for Goncalo Ramos in January or risk waiting a bidding war with other European clubs in the summer. So they're saying that United are considering, do they make a move for Goncalo Ramos in January? Samuel Lutkes and Simon Stone confirmed yesterday United want Goncalo Ramos, and they are directly briefed by the club. So we know for an absolute fact that from all the sources that United want Goncalo Ramos, Cody Gakpo, or Joao Felix, and want to get whoever's probably most attainable. Whoever's going to be the cheapest out of Ramos, Gakpo, and Felix, I think we'll get. I think right now, Cody Gakpo is the first choice. Felix is the second choice, and Ramos is the third choice for Ten Hag. But I think United, if one of those people becomes attainable at a attainable price in January, I think United will make the move from the sounds of things. And that Erik Ten Hag very much does like Goncalo Ramos. And I did speak about Goncalo Ramos 2-3 months ago on the channel. I said, young Portuguese striker, rumoured to be next Ronaldo. This is someone the United are keeping an eye on. And good sources are saying we are following Goncalo Ramos. And I think the fact that Simon Stone and Samuel Lutkes spoke about him yesterday, I think United are keeping an eye on him. But I think because of what he's done at the World Cup and because Benfica know how to get lots of money for their strikers, I think we'll be priced out of him. I think we'll be priced out of Goncalo Ramos, especially considering how well Benfica are doing. I don't think we'll be able to get him in January. I think it's someone we have a bidding war with in the summer. Again, I think it's Joao Felix on loan, or we can get Cody Gakpo as long as there's not a bidding war for him. But I thought that was an interesting story because it did come out from good sources about Goncalo Ramos. We also have been linked to Kingman J, but I think that is something that's very much going to happen in the summer. And what we do know from The Athletic, and The Athletic are, absolute tier one source of information. The Athletic always hitting the nail on the head when it comes to news and everything. And they said for Manchester United to make an approach for a striker in January, there are two conditions. The player must improve the team, but must be affordable. Players that improve the team and are available in January, Felix, Gakpo, Ramos, but are they affordable? And I think that is this thing, are we going to get Ramos or not? Are we going to get Gakpo or not? And the question is, are they affordable? Man United need to be ready for Nottingham Forest at home, then before Burnley. I do think the one good thing about Portugal, England, and Netherlands being knocked out of the World Cup is now we've got Luke Shaw, Maguire coming back. We've got Bruno coming back, Delot coming back. We've got Rashford coming back. We've got Malacia coming back. We've also got Anthony, Casemiro, and Fred coming back. And I think now that they'll be back with 8 days before the Burnley game, that means that they'll probably be able to play versus Burnley. So, that puts us, that's the only good thing about the United players getting knocked out is because I looked at the two friendlies we played and I thought this team ain't going to do shit versus Burnley. So, yeah. Gakpo in and maybe another striker. What happened to Rashford, Martial, Sanchez? You know what's really annoyed me? So, approaching on this comment is all I want. In pre-season, we saw Rashi on the left, Sancho on the right and Martial up top. We haven't seen it once this season. I just want to see that front three together. I think they connected so well in pre-season. Rashi on the left, Martial up top, Sancho on the right. Obviously, Martial injury, and then Anthony's coming on the right. But I would like to see that front three. I'd also like to see Anthony on the right, Martial up top, and Rashford on the left. But I would like to see that. He'll only join us if he's in charge of transfers. Mbappe, yeah. I don't think Mbappe to United will happen, but Mbappe to United is the dream. It would be the absolute dream. I know there's a few question marks around it. Ramos has a 100 million release clause that Benfica won't move mid-season. Like, see another year of production out of them anyway. Yeah, I agree with this comment. Completely forgot about the release clause. I said I don't think it will happen. I think, if he's affordable, United will get him in January, but I don't think he's going to be affordable. And why would Benfica sell mid-season? But I think that's one maybe for the summer. I think Ramos, Vlahovic, Osimhen, Tony, I think even Kane, I think they'll be linked to United in the summer. I think it's very clear what one. No Depay, yeah. So reportedly Man United don't want Depay. And actually, I think it was Howard Nurse. Is that his name? Howard Nurse, yeah. This guy always tweets things. And he obviously said Cody Gakpo then. And whenever he does a tweet like this, it normally means United are going to get them. He's got good sources. And he said Cody Gakpo probably not them, which was an interesting thing that he said. However, he's contradicting Romano. But he did get asked about Bellingham. He said no. He said Depay. He said no. He said it's interesting because he said that we're not in for Cody Gakpo and he's got good sources. But then you have Romano coming out today saying Cody Gakpo would still be keen on a move to Manchester United. Contacts with his agent are ongoing. He could be available for 60 to 65 million. So, again, a lot of this news contradicts itself as well. As with Delot injury, do you think we'll target a right back? I don't think Delot's injury is going to be long term. So, I think United Ten Hag wants a right back, and I think United will try and get a right back. But they were saying if worse comes to worse, Man United will recall Ethan Laird, which sounds like something United will do because it means they don't have to spend money, and Ethan Laird can be Delot's backup when they let Wan-Bissaka go. I think United's plan at this rate would be if we can't afford a striker, maybe they'll buy a right back. But there are talks of Man United basically recalling Ethan Laird as well. Keep smashing the like button, subscribe down below. Apparently, Heads Goal has been shut down. Everyone's favourite football streaming site, Heads Goal, has been shut down. And tell you what, if you really want to shut down all the streaming sites, just air all the Premier League games and we'd fucking pay for them. But you don't air all the Premier League games. So we have to use these illegal streams, honestly. But I'd keep an eye on the Gakpo situation. 95 million for Guardiola. The Croatian centre-back, I don't think that it is true because I don't think we have 95 million euros to offer. And I know that striker and right-back is priority of a centre-back. But I think he's a player, with Maguire leaving potentially in the summer, we could go in for the summer. I think they've used Man United's name and pretended Man United have offered 95 million to see if they can scare City or Chelsea who are in for him as well. Guys, we are 20 subscribers away from 54.3k. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and click that subscribe button. It would mean a lot if you do subscribe to the channel. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I go live most evenings on the channel, and there's a video every day. There's normally a video every morning and a live stream every evening, depending on the news that updates you with all the transfer news, Manchester United news, and general news you need to know. I have to say now, as anyone else, I don't know if it's just me, kind of just lost interest in the World Cup now. England are out. I just want my Man United back. I'm just too heartbroken that England are out. A clinical striker will take us to the next level. We create enough chances. Jan shuts the windows open. A clinical striker and a ball-carrying midfielder is what we need. We need 2 players and then just a backup right back. Can we all wish Ted and Menge speedy recovery? Apparently it's a long-term injury. It looked like a long-term injury. Haven't heard about what it is, but it did look long-term as well. I wouldn't want Kane retirement FC. Harry Kane's a good player, but he's very short term. But I think United will be interested in Kane. I think he's a little bit underrated, Kane, although he just missed that penalty yesterday. I literally thought Harry Kane, he does not miss. It's like we all were jinxed. It's pronounced Goncalo Ramos. Oh, Fez. I know a Goncalo's, and he pronounced it Goncalo. But I guess it's pronounced Gonzalo. Thanks for that. I'm really shit with my pronunciation. I used to be all right at pronunciation when I played FIFA, because FIFA would tell me things. Although they would go Bruno Fernandes, but since FIFA and since my pronunciation's shite. 500 legends watching. Make sure you do smash the like button. Exactly. Big up Gaz in the chat, and as Diego says, do subscribe down below if you are new as well. I'm enjoying the World Cup. Hopefully Morocco get to the final. I am enjoying it, but I've just lost interest. It's like now England are out, I've lost interest, but I will be hoping for Morocco to win. I think that would be nice to have an underdog story, but I feel like my interest is gone now. England aren't in it. It's like I was getting really into it, and now I'm like, Portugal are out, which had the Man United players in. Brazil are out, which had the Man United players in. England are out. There's not many Man United players left, and for me, club over country. Man United over England, club over country for me. So I feel like my World Cup interest in general has gone down a little bit, and I feel bad saying that, but I just love United so much. This is the interesting story, though, that you want to take this news with a pinch of salt. Luke Edwards of the Telegraph did say that Man United will not overpay for a striker in January, and Ten Hag does have confidence in Martial if he can stay fit. So although we're linked to players, you've got to remember United won't. Yeah, France are going to retain it. I said from the beginning Argentina would win. I did say from the beginning Argentina would win because I saw a rumour they were going to win. Then Qatar wanted them to win, so I don't know. It was also said by Romano, Man United know Joao Felix is available. United want him in the summer, but it is a different situation after signing Anthony. So Fabrizio Romano said something interesting here about Joao Felix. And he said, basically, Man United were interested in Joao Felix in the summer, but now they've signed Anthony. Do they want to spend 100 million on another attacker? Probably not. I think if he's available on loan, United would take him over no one because he's not a right winger, and getting Anthony doesn't mean you don't need Joao Felix. But I think it's the fact that if you spend 100 million on Anthony, why are you spending 100 million on Joao Felix, when he's not an out-and-out striker? So he's basically saying that although United know Joao Felix is available, they've signed Anthony. I think that's Romano saying United know Joao Felix is available, they don't have the money for him. United like Goncalo Ramos, that's confirmed. United like Joao Felix, but I think Romano's saying we don't have the money for Joao Felix, and I think it is Cody Gakpo. Glazers have to buy a striker and spend in January. Who's going to want to buy us if we're not in the Champions League and charge 6 billion? I think, people will buy United. There's a lot of people interested in buying United. I will do a video on the next owners and all that this week when that gets in. But I think the Glazers are in a situation where they really do have to sell. And I think we will find new owners. In fact, we know that there's about 5, 6, 7 parties interested in buying United. And yeah, I lost interest in England years ago. I just don't get into England as much as I do into Man United. I think the World Cup helps, but as soon as it's not the World Cup or Euros, I don't give a fuck about England. And Germany is where we will find a striker, says Alex Core. There's a lot of good strikers in Germany, but Bundesliga tax is really a thing as well. But Eriksen and Casemiro are getting some rest as well. The only good thing about United players coming home early is they do get more rest, which hopefully should mean they're better for United. Such different players anyway. Felix, Anthony, and only United came out with these sorts of stories, and funds drying up. I do think we don't have much money in January, but I think that United, if they really wanted Felix, they could get him, but I don't think United want to get him as well. Big up Daniel, who's just joined as well. And Fat Four says, feels like the path is laid for Argentina, but I'd like to see Croatia do it. They've been knocking on the door for a while. Morocco playing them in the final would be nice. Moroccan-Croatian final would be like the best and worst final in history, because it'd be like two underdogs, so it'd be fun and someone new, but then at the same time, it wouldn't be the same as having England-Brazil. Do you get what I mean? I think France are going to win. I think Argentina will beat Croatia, and I think France will win the World Cup. But Morocco, you have to give it to them to get this far as well. It's absolutely crazy. And I think it's good to see something different. The one thing I like about Morocco is they're African, and I think the World Cup's been very dominated by Europe and even South America. So it's nice to have someone different win it. I think it would be very boring if France won it again. It'd be really nice for someone different. It'd be nice for Lisandro Martinez to win it. It'd be nice for Morocco to win it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But the guys, I want to get into the main story, and I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow to update you guys on this. But there were rumours about Cody Gakpo not happening. But Romano said that Cody Gakpo is still keen on joining Manchester United. So for me, that is the big story I take away from today's news video. And Man United must decide whether to move for Goncalo Ramos to January or risk a bidding war. Keep smashing the likes, people, and of course, subscribe down below if you're new. We've got 1 or 2 more stories to get into as well. But before I get into that, I do want to say, remember, guys, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app, I've just got it here on my laptop, but you can go and download it on your phone for completely free. There's a link pinned in the chat, and there is a link in the description to download the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app's kept me updated with all the World Cup news, but I can click on my Man United section here. And as you can see, I've got a lot of Man United news. Rashford to PSG news. PSG all in for Rashford. Got to watch out for that one. We've got, Declan Rice and Maguire, Southgate news. Joao Felix, Man United named as favourites to sign Joao Felix. Here, Man United for Goncalo Ramos. Rashford set to leave in 2023, but Ten Hag won't let it happen. Some news on the women's game. As you can see, there's the title and thumbnail of this video. Man United make crazy 95 million offer to sign Croatian duo as they batter Chelsea for defender. This is obviously the title of today's video. So all my news is on the OneFootball app. So if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and more, 1, subscribe to Alice Talks Football and we can discuss it and all that. But 2, obviously make sure you get the OneFootball app as well. I don't want Messi to win the World Cup. The fanboys will make me sick. But the thing is that I'd like Messi to win the World Cup, but the sad thing is people will use it to put down Ronaldo. And the one thing that annoys me is everyone's comparing Messi and Ronaldo now. They're like, yeah, Messi's so the GOAT. There's 3 years age difference between Messi and Ronaldo. 3 years age difference between Messi and Ronaldo. And I think, how can you compare Messi and Ronaldo? No, you should be comparing them 5, 6, 7 years ago. Of course, Messi's going to be better than Ronaldo now. Ronaldo is 3 years older and relies on skill and all of that more. That's the thing. Ronaldo requires power, speed. Messi, I think it annoys me that everyone's like, yeah, Messi's so clear of Ronaldo. Yes, he is now. But Ronaldo 2 years ago was like on top of the world. Ronaldo's declining. He's 3 years older than Messi. I don't know how you can compare a 38-year-old with a 35-year-old. In football, that's a massive age thing. I think to compare Messi and Ronaldo off this World Cup is silly. But there's so much of a recency bias in football. For me, it makes no sense to compare Messi and Ronaldo now because obviously Messi's going to be better because he's 3 years younger, but also Messi's attributes, are better, to be older. Whereas Ronaldo's is speed and power, which deteriorates most with age. City bid 88 million for Guardiola, Chelsea bid 84, and United 77, apparently. That's some news coming in as well. And Lisandro Martinez is the only reason I'm supporting Argentina. I'd like Licha to win it. I tell you what, Lisandro was literally crying. I love Lisandro Martinez. He's just like, you can tell he's so passionate and football was everything for him. He plays with his heart on his sleeve. And it was sad to see him in tears, and you just know how much it means to him. And it's so nice to have a player like that where that it means everything for them. When they're putting on that shirt, like, okay, it means a lot for this guy, and it was so nice as well. We need to appreciate that we got to see Messi and Ronaldo in 20 years' time. The younger generation will never get to see them exactly, and I appreciate them both. But unfortunately, there's this competition where you can only like one or the other. I appreciate them both. Ronaldo will be my GOAT because I saw him in the Premier League and he scored loads of goals and stuff. I think Messi's been better than Ronaldo the last 3 years, but Ronaldo will be my GOAT because he's the player that made me fall in love with football, and I've seen him a lot more. I think Messi is naturally better than Ronaldo, but I think Ronaldo worked hard to get to the same level as Messi. And, I think, I love the two players. But people, yeah, Daniel said he feels sorry for Harry Kane. I feel sorry for a lot of England players, but it must be hard for Kane. But it's a lot harder, you think, taking 2 penalties in the same game is a lot harder than you think. Do Croatia have a striker? They have Kramovic or something. This is a centre back. This is the centre back, which I don't believe this story because I don't think United, personally want a centre back. But look, people, I'm going to wrap up today's live stream. So do smash that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. There will be a transfer news update video coming out tomorrow morning. So to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. 2 videos every day. So 1 video and 1 live stream a day. 2 pieces of content out every day because it's going to heat up. The transfer news is going to heat up. There's going to be some new owner news coming in and more. So one football app and click that subscribe button to stay up to date on United news. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Big up everybody who contributed to the live chat, and I will see you next time, and bye.